to Service Strong. I'm your host, Liberty Simmons, and today we have a very special guest for all of you, Bonnie Carroll with the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. And Bonnie, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Service Strong to talk about your incredible story and how you help families who are grieving, military and veteran families.
Thanks so much, Liberty. It's a real honor to be with you to share our mission.
All right. And so let's talk about your story because you have such an incredible past and a legacy of service that begins with your parents and that you continue throughout your military career and even today as a civilian. So talk to us a little bit about what inspired you to join the service.
Well, my mother was born on Fort Bliss, Texas. Her father was serving in the Army, and she went on to serve in the Women's Army Air Corps as an aviator. You know, sadly, my mom died when I was a teenager. She died of cancer. And I really didn't get the opportunity as an adult to hear more of those stories, but I knew this was such an important part of her life and something that meant just everything to her. The opportunity to serve her country, to serve in defense of freedom. So it inspired me to step away from an early career in Washington and join the Air National Guard.
That is so wonderful. And your mother was an aviator, you said, right?
She was. I didn't follow in her footsteps and fly, but was proud to serve.
Yeah, absolutely. And so just tell us about your mother as well, because you had to deal and process through grief and deal with tragedy at a very young age.
It was devastating to lose a parent at a young age, just at those, those years, those teen years when I think girls really need to have a mom around.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And so talk to us about your role in the Air National Guard. And you're the tall one right there in that picture, right? Next to the drill instructor?
Yeah. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And it almost felt like a little bit of deja vu, like my mom was right there with me and, proud of what I was doing. And I'm so glad that I came into the military, enlisted, served for a number of years, made it all the way up to staff sergeant. The transition to tech sergeant was incredibly difficult. I have so much respect. In the Air Guard, I did concurrently apply for a commission. So was able to receive a commission and transition into being a logistics officer.
That's wonderful. I'm sure your mother would be proud to see how you, in your own way, followed in her footsteps of service. So let's talk about also your husband, because he was also in the military. How did you guys meet? And tell us about your stories.
Oh, right. My husband actually grew up in a family of service. His father was the first Adjutant General of Alaska. So proud National Guard history. But when Tom and his three brothers, the four of them were just teenagers, their father was killed in a National Guard plane crash in Alaska. So three of his brothers, he and two of his brothers, went right into the military after graduating from high school. They joined the Army, served. Tom was the only one that stayed in uniform for his entire career. But that's kind of how we met. At the time, I was working in the West Wing of the White House. There was a incident involving the National Guard, and the president asked me, as a guardsman on the weekend, to look into it and see how we could help. And that's how Tom and I met.
Oh, that's wonderful. Who was the president at the time?
It was President Reagan.
Oh my
amazing.
goodness!
I know, back in time.
That is incredible. So that's how you met your husband, and he was also in the service. And so, did you guys kind of share that bond in terms of having to deal with tragedy and grief at a very young age, losing your parents so young?
Absolutely. It was so similar. And that really, it made Tom such a compassionate leader and something that formed, who we were and how we led.
Absolutely. And it kind of leads you today to what you do with TAPS. So can you talk to us about how those experiences kind of shaped who you are and your call to service now?
Absolutely. When my husband and 7 other soldiers were killed in an Army National Guard plane crash, I'd had a background as a military officer. up in Alaska. I had worked actually as a civilian in the Department of Law, helping families navigate the court process after a tragic death. I was volunteering with other organizations in the Guard. I was picked to be on a critical incidents just debriefing team. So all this experience, all this training, when Tom and the 7 other soldiers were killed, there was a moment where I thought, okay, I can help. I can be there. I know how to do this. And that fantasy lasted about 30 seconds. And I just couldn't even breathe.
That is horrible. I could only imagine as a military spouse myself what that was like. So how do you go through and get through something like that?
I did. I immediately started looking for the kind of organization that I knew had to exist in America for people like me who had lost a loved one, who were grieving a life lived in service to this country. But back then in the early 90s, it didn't exist. And after months of searching, finally found a community with the other widows from the crash.
Oh, incredible. And so coming up, we will talk to Bonnie about what she did when she found out that an organization to support her through tragedy didn't exist when we come back. Welcome back to Service Strong. I'm your host, Liberty Simmons, and we are with Bonnie Carroll with the Tragedy Assistance Program for survivors, rather. And Bonnie, thank you so much for joining us once again. And we were talking about how when you went through tragedy of losing your husband, that you didn't have an organization that you have right now. You didn't have a TAPS there to support you. So what did you do?
Well, I went looking for what I thought would have already existed in America for the families of our fallen. We have beautiful national shrines, cemeteries, memorials, monuments to the fallen, but there had never been an organization for the living legacies of service and sacrifice, the families left behind, just a community of care and comfort. So really, it wasn't until I reconnected with the other 7 wives at a memorial service that we found, wow, we had everything in common. We could talk to each other in raw, authentic ways. We could find a support with each other. And so went looking for that in the military. It didn't exist. Went back to the Department of Defense, Department of Veterans Affairs. And so TAPS was created after 2 years of that needs assessment and gap analysis, benchmarking best practices, and finding that support community.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you are going through something like that, I can only imagine as a military spouse how difficult that is, how heartbreaking that is. How do you get through something like that emotionally? I know you did have the other spouses around, but what is that like for people who may not ever go through that, maybe be a civilian who don't know the sacrifices of military families?
Yeah, it's absolutely devastating to lose a partner, to lose someone who is so much a part of who you are. And through TAPS, we've created an opportunity for our families to honor life and service. Not just focus on the moment and the manner of the death, but to know that this loved one's life included stepping forward with service and sacrifice.
And when you were developing TAPS, was your mother and your husband in the back of your mind throughout all of this?
Constantly. Absolutely. And we remember and honor those who we have loved and lost, and they continue to inspire us. And that's part of what TAPS is and what we offer to families.
Mm-hmm. And that is so beautiful that you were able to turn tragedy into a mission to support other grieving spouses who are going through all of this, grieving children as well, because not only does a service member leave behind a spouse, sometimes they leave behind children, so a whole family is affected. So what do you want people to know about TAPS and what you have created now?
Well, we come alongside the military. This is a complement to everything the military casualty offers. And The military does a magnificent job of rendering final honors, providing a final resting place, administering benefits to those who are eligible. But then it really is up to us, up to TAPS as an organization, to come right alongside and provide all of those additional resources and lifelong comfort support. You know, I realized very early on, and after years of doing research, talking to other survivors, talking to the government, there were 4 things that weren't available anywhere else in the government or in the private sector. And that's 24/7 availability. So we've had a National Military Survivor Helpline now answered live for 33 years. There is peer-based emotional support, connecting families with each other. Right now, we have about 10,000 new family members grieving a military loss coming to us every year. So it's also the opportunity to do casework assistance. So that's taking the benefits, explaining them, navigating them during the most difficult times, providing emergency financial assistance, and fixing all of the challenges that families have, and then finally connecting families to the resources in their local community, including grief counseling.
Wow, you guys offer so much, a 24/7 hotline, and also helping them navigate, because when you're grieving, the last thing you're thinking about is benefits or financials. And how do you help the spouses, the families, go through all of those technicalities? And I'm sure it's very complicated.
Well, now with hundreds of thousands of families who have become part of TAPS over all of these 3 decades, we've learned a lot. And we've done research, and we understand that the very first phase, and certainly what I experienced, is just safety and stabilization. After the B-52 crash a few weeks ago, we immediately connected with the families, 3 different duty statuses, helping them navigate the different benefits, letting them know that not only would the Air Force be standing with them, but that there was a whole community of care that would be there for them. One of those spouses just actually came and attended our regional survivor seminar and Good Grief Camp just weeks after the loss, to know that she's not alone, that there is a community of care. And you multiply that times, right now, our average intake is 26 new bereaved family members every day.
Wow, and that is also a heartbreaking number as well. But to know that you are making such a big impact is also very fulfilling, I'm sure. And coming up in our next segment, we will speak to Bonnie about some of the local tragedies that she and her organization has been able to respond to, and also a special award she earned through her service. Ahead. Welcome back to Service Strong. We are speaking with a very special guest, Bonnie Carroll with the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. And Bonnie, we were talking about before the break about how you also have responded, your organization, to local tragedies, one including the Old Dominion shooting, also the local tragic airplane crash involving an Army helicopter that killed so many. So talk to us a little bit about the tragedies that TAPS has been able to provide support to military families who were going through that grieving process and really, really needed help locally.
Absolutely. And, you know, we have fantastic relationships with military casualty officers, with chaplains, with commanders, of course, with the DC National Guard. Also, given my husband's death in an aviation, I'm part of the National Air Disaster Alliance response team. And so through those relationships, when tragedy strikes, they realize that we are there to provide additional support, just quietly in the background, to be there, to be present for whatever the families may need, and any additional support that we can offer. Families sometimes connect with us within hours, and sometimes we're just in the background providing that additional case assistance. Maybe it's emergency financial support that the government is not able to provide. And then as the family transitions through their grief, TAPS wraps our arms around them and is there for the rest of their lives with a community of comfort and care and additional support.
That's wonderful and powerful work. So let's talk about how you guys were able to support the victims and the families of the Old Dominion University shooting here in our region.
It was absolutely tragic, a sudden traumatic loss. And, to be there, could come alongside law enforcement and the university to let them know that there is support and comfort to stand with the family, as we did when the 2 National Guardsmen were shot near the White House. TAPS stepped in immediately, was there bedside with Andy Wolf, was there with the family of Sarah, was there to provide that ongoing care. And TAPS has the capability now to be present, to be a partner, to provide support as only we can, because grief is not a mental illness. It isn't a physical injury. Grief is about love and loss and redefining our relationship with those who have died and redefining our own identity. And we are uniquely positioned to do that with our families.
And what kind of response do you get from these families when you are there for the darkest moments of their lives? I'm sure they are relieved. I'm sure they are extremely grateful. Maybe their eyes are opened in this time of darkness. How have they responded to you and what your organization does?
Oh gosh, it's instant family. It's instant connection because we have the same lived experience. The first time that I talked with several of those from this recent B-52 crash, the fact that my husband's death was also with 8 on board, was also aviation, was also a spouse. It just brought down all barriers, and the conversations that we could have were so authentic and genuine. We could share, resources and listen to needs and meet them because we have tremendous resources, not only through partnership with the government, the military, but also in the private sector and in our community partnerships.
That's so wonderful work that you guys are able to provide for these families. So let's also talk about some of the recognition that you and your organization has been able to earn for your more than 3 decades of work in helping support these families through their grief. And you were also awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And you see President Barack Obama putting it on you right here. So talk about that moment. Was it like a crowning achievement of all the work you've done for decades?
We've had a wonderful relationship with every administration, and we've been very, very fortunate that every president has recognized the work that we do and honored families of the fallen. For President Obama serving during the height of the Iraq War in particular, and also Afghanistan, he was very personally involved. He would call us and ask about particular families. He saw the support that we were able to give as a military service organization to step in. So the Presidential Medal of Freedom was really a recognition of the support given and the honor rendered to all those families who have sacrificed and served.
I'm sure you dedicate that medal to all of them, but you should also, give yourself credit for all the wonderful work you've done and all the lives that you've changed along the way through their tragedies. And just lastly, what inspires you and keeps you going? Why do you choose to serve in this way?
Oh, what inspires me are the kids now that have grown up in TAPS. It's amazing. We've had kids who came to us in strollers that are now, graduating from college. They're going off there. Some are joining the military themselves. But to see how it has really shaped who they are. Every year, over Memorial Day here in Arlington, Virginia, we have the national gathering of surviving families. And we actually have kids who miss their own high school graduation back home to be with their Good Grief Camp kids, those that they've grown up with, because they always tell us that that's a community they'll have forever. So TAPS is a family.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for the work that you do. And thank you for joining us on Service Strong, Bonnie Carroll, with the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. And we are just so honored to have you on.
Thanks so much, Liberty. An honor to share our mission.
And tune in next week, where we will bring you more men and women who demonstrate what it truly means to be service strong. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.